Welcome. The collective is here for your information, knowledge, and love. What we ask of you is to sit and listen. Listen to the vibration. Listen to the frequency. For it is this frequency that you resonate with. It is this vibration that you are connected to. Allow yourselves now to be connected. For what is it that brings you joy? What is it in your life that brings you joy? Brings you happiness? Do you seek it? Do you allow it? Or do you fear away from it? See, you can look at the world around you as you sit within it now, and yes, be fearful. But what's the difference now than it was 5 years, 10 years, 15 years ago? There is no difference. Nothing has changed. This planet is a chaotic planet. So where is it that you sit in your happiness, your joy? Are you distracted from it? Do you fear away from it because of everything that is in your human view? See, it isn't where you are on your path. It isn't what you've contracted that brings you joy, that brings you peace, that brings you comfort. It's how you operate within this humanness. Because you can find joy and happiness in everything. Yes, even the chaos. It has been mentioned before that even within the chaos, there is calm, there's peace, and within peace, there's joy. But what do you allow your eyes and your ears to take in? So yes, it has been mentioned before that there is going to be chaos. There's going to be turmoil. This isn't to precede anything. This is to allow you to prepare yourselves to find the happiness, to find the joy, the comfort, not more of the chaos. This paradigm shift that all humans are on, this trajectory of ascension, the closer that ascension is on your horizon, yes, more is going to become chaotic. But think of it in manners of your human body. You have a small infection on your arm or on your leg because of a piece of dirt. If you allow your attention to be drawn to that at every moment, it's going to grow even bigger than it should because you're putting energy into it. You're allowing it to grow because you're putting your energy back into it. But if you acknowledge it, and you understand that it's there and you clean it, and then allow it to be, you're not putting energy back into it. It's not going to grow. Apply a clean bandage every so often, but you're not giving it attention. You're doing what's necessary to heal it. This is the same in your life. This is the same in your human life. The more you draw your attention to what is going on around you, if it's chaos, well then that's what's going to be drawn to you. Not in the same terms as what you're seeing on your social media and your news, but in your daily activities, there's going to be chaos because that is the energy you're drawing to yourself. But if you allow that to kind of dissipate into your of your view, and you turn your attention to what brings you joy, happiness, comfort. That bird singing in the tree, the water lapping at the edge of the stream, the trees rustling in the wind, even the rain that washes over the ground. The small things, and you allow your attention to be drawn to that, you're going to see how much more is drawn to you in a calm, peaceful way to bring you happiness, peace, joy. See, in these times of chaos and challenge, the more you find joy in it, not of the chaos, but in the chaos, you begin to change the paradigm of humanity, you, one moment at a time. Because it begins to ripple across others. They begin to witness it in you, that you are different in some way. You're not, as one would say, feeding into it. You acknowledge it, but then your attention changes to the bird singing in the tree, and you find yourself in a harmonious vibration with that bird. It's where your attention is focused. Don't be distracted. It's been said over and over in all of the channelings, do not be distracted by the chaos that is around. Be distracted in your own happiness. Be distracted in your own joy. Be distracted in those things that bring you peace. And you'll find that your existence begins to shift. Your existence here becomes easier. More things are drawn to you comfortably in joy and happiness. So don't be distracted by that is the chaos around you. Be distracted by those peaceful things, those joyful things. For if you have questions, please begin.
Thank you so much for your presence this evening. Wendy says she's been recently made aware of a guide or a guardian and is curious to know more about them. She heard a gruff voice clearly during a cranial sacral session, possibly a Viking or a warrior, a large, very gruff being. Can you shed some light on who that was, or a description and their purpose, please?
To understand this is to understand your ancestry, if you wish. For your assessment is accurate. The gruff voice itself is Odin. This is the, if you wish to say it, the leader, but think of it more as a collective of the ancestral line that you are tied to that era. Yes, Vikings, but more so all Nordic beings. Now, understand beings. This is both that of the human being and that of the Nordic beings, those of extraterrestrial origin. For they were both in unison. They both lived amongst each other during this time of your lineage back to that point. Why though? Why now? Why is it important? For it is understanding the one would say, the root system of this origin or this tree that you are connected to. They are reminding you of this, this family that you are connected to. It is to understand the depths of the earth process. For the Nordics themselves, the Nordic beings themselves are ones that are tied deeply to the earth. You too, in your humanness, deeply tied to the earth. But see, recently it has been shifting for you. This is because a new stream of, one would say, data, information has been coming in. This is from this ancestral line. You are receiving it now. It will be deciphered in time, but it is to understand the power behind this collective of beings. Yes, one for strength, the warrior aspect of that, of the strength of the Nordic and the Viking. But it is also to understand the placement of Odin. Odin is going to bring you teachings. Understand to begin to learn the language through runes. This does not mean you have to practice, but it is to understand the language of what it means, the symbols. Because each one of the symbols, yes, has a specific meaning, but it is the energetic presence that is tied to the symbols within the runes. That is more important than the physical word that they are tied to. This is the language that they wish to have you receive, and this is what the information that is being downloaded into you is. This is going to open a pathway for this earth healing that is going to take place, for the process that you've been navigating over the last several years with animals, the earth planet, the portals, the vortices. It is all leading to a culmination for you to be a warrior of sorts, but not in a form or fashion of battling, but in a way in which it is to stand strong against those that wish to rise up against your earth planet. But not in a way that you pick up arms or shield, but it is energetic. It is harnessing the power of those vortices and portals to surround those areas that you exist in, shield them. See, this is all what the runes have to tell you. This is what the language has to tell you. But allow yourself the time to be infused by the downloads. The deciphering will come in time, but begin to learn the language. It will be helpful.
Wow, thank you for all of that. So are the Nordic extraterrestrials those that we call the tall whites?
For they are associated with the tall whites. That is the name that has been given to them in most recent years, yes.
And where are they? Are they a hybrid of the Pleiadians?
For they are a hybrid, yes. Pleiadian is one, Arcturian, Orion, and Andromedan.
I see, thank you. Alex wonders if he should collaborate with Dr. Rhine on his device, please.
For there is a point along the journey, the path, that the doorways begin to open for a connection. This isn't to thrust yourself into the opening of the doorway, but it is to begin to gently make an awareness between the two. Collaboration will take place in the future. Immediately, it is to ease the process. It is to align the two energies. And it isn't, you have to understand too, this aligning isn't going to be through the normal methods of speak of devices or frequencies or fields of energy. It is building a relationship in a different manner that then allows you access through the doorway. And that's where the collaboration will take place.
Good to know, thank you. Judy wonders what she needs to be aware of about her upcoming trip to Mount Shasta in August, please.
For this journey that you are upon to Mount Shasta this has been pre-planned prior to this incarnation. For this journey you must understand the timeline of events, not the trip itself, but the journey over time. For you understand where humanity is at this moment, you understand all that is taking place, you understand the origin of humanity, you understand all of the processes involved with all of the galactic origin beings. But you also are beginning to understand there is a reawakening of those within the inner earth. Reawakening in a way in which not coming to the surface, but their energies are beginning to vibrate differently. Yes, the Agarthans. For you're going to begin to witness a relationship that is built with these vibrations. The Agarthan vibration, that is how it should be categorized. This isn't the being, this is the vibration. And why is this important? As you arrive in this location, yes, it has been given a name, Mount Shasta, but it is a specific crossing of lines, yes, ley lines, but crystalline waypoints. As you arrive, there is going to be an introduction that is going to take place. It is going to be audible and it is going to be physical. Audible, you're going to begin to hear, shall be understood, subtle vibrations that are just outside of the normal hearing range, but you are going to have access to them. It'll be very subtle. It'll be overlaid. The other is going to be physical. Your body is going to, yes, vibrate much differently than it has before. So, this is the introduction. Once the introduction is done, then you have access to that vibration of the Agarthans and the relationship begins. Through meditation, you're going to be taken in to the crystalline cities. You're going to see the conjunction points of the crystalline structures and lines, the ley lines, the vibrational points that interlock all throughout the planet. You'll see it. For you've had much training, if it were, up to this point of understanding how to meditate into specific points. You've done this in the past. This here is going to allow you greater access. The greater purpose of this is to understand that once you leave, you are now locked into that frequency, the Agarthan frequency, the vibration. And this is going to help you in not only bringing forth a vibrational healing point, meaning as you assess or work with others, you can draw upon the Agarthan energy to bring forth a stronger vibrational field from Mother Earth, to assist with grounding, to assist with transmutation in yourself and others. This is going to be an educational aspect that you're going to take on. And so yes, it is going to be quite awakening, if it were, for your experience there.
That's really interesting because Judy has always, through her body, transmuted a lot, and it's been quite painful. So I'm sensing that perhaps using the Agarthan and the earth energy will allow her not to transmute so much through her own body.
For it will be a conduit, it will pass through quickly and smoothly. This is correct.
Wonderful, thank you. And what about this whirring or wave sound that Judy and others heard between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. on June 2nd during the solar storms that were hitting Earth? It sounded almost like a spaceship outside of her house, or a 5G tower, or some sort of electrical grid buzzing. What was going on for many that heard that?
For this is what you were perceiving in this whirring or wave sound. Yes, this geomagnetic aspect of the solar radiation, if it were, that is passing across the Earth's magnetic field. You are picking up on those vibrations. You have to understand that many humans at this point are more sensitive to the electromagnetic fields that are all around them. And so yes, you are perceiving it in a sound aperture, but it is the energy that is coursing through the ions of the atmosphere in which you exist. You are sensing and hearing it. It is presented all around. So those that are highly sensitive, that is exactly what they are picking up on. And if you settled with yourself in that moment, you would feel it pulsing through your body. You would feel it rippling across your skin. You would feel it over the tops of the hairs on your arm and your head and your body, because it is an electrically charged atmosphere that is whooshing, if it were, past your planet, and you are picking up on it.
And allowing it to do so isn't harming the body.
It is not. It is not at all. You have to understand, you've been introduced to this your entirety of all lifetimes. This isn't anything different than any other lifetime. Yes, it seems as if the solar storms are greater today than they ever have been, but this is incorrect. This is a normal cycle, and even 15, 20, 30 years ago, they were just as amplified, but not many knew of them because there wasn't the influx of your social media or your internet to have everyone be aware of it. It was just something that took place. You went about your daily business, and if there was a fluctuation in your energy, you didn't think much of it. But now, because everything is presented before you immediately, everyone is aware at the precise moment that something crosses the earth plane.
Wow, thank you for that. Lauren G. wonders, what does she need to know regarding living her most authentic life or becoming her most authentic self, please?
For living one's authentic self will become the most difficult and challenging aspect of any existence. Why is that? Because you cannot hide from your own truth. You cannot hide from someone else's truth. You allow yourself to be authentic at every moment. If someone says something to you and you disagree with it, you have the language and the words and the energy to stand in your authenticity, to have a conversation, not back away from it. Yes, it is going to be difficult at first. And think of it this way. For a newborn's first steps are the most difficult steps they'll ever take in their life. Being authentic in your life, every moment, will be the most difficult thing you will do for the rest of your life. But once you begin, then it becomes easier. But you have to take the first step. But that authenticity, once you step into a world of authentic living, it opens more doorways than it closes. It brings on more relationships and friendships than it sets aside. It opens more opportunities than it does close the doors behind you. So, if that is the path you choose, then that is going to be the most difficult path to start. But when you begin, you'll realize it's actually easier than anticipated. That first authentic conversation, yes, is going to be challenging. That first authentic relationship is going to be challenging. But when you look back with a smile and an understanding, you'll say, that was actually easy. I'm glad I made that choice.
Wonderful, thank you. Kathy P. wonders, during a recent hypnosis session, it was revealed that her memory lapses in her life have to do with being a walk-in. Can you verify or provide context around that, please?
For us to understand that, yes, it isn't to understand that a permanent walk-in and then another permanent walk-in and another permanent walk-in had taken place. It is to understand that in these moments, the human body required the assistance of another consciousness. Now, what does that mean? It means that your physical body needed the assistance. Your consciousness was needed elsewhere. Your physical body needed the consciousness of a more supportive system. Your consciousness was required somewhere else. So it wasn't giving the full attention to the physicality. Then, when the physicality caught up, and was brought back to a normal state, then at the time at which your consciousness was ready to enter back in, it did. So there is a bit of a give and take. Now, why is this different than a normal walk-in? This is what you've contracted in this lifetime. You've placed this before you on your path, on your contract, because of your consciousness. Now, you've understood this of your consciousness, even that as a little girl, you understood that you perceived things in this world, in this entirety of this life, much differently than most. It has been challenging in this physicality because your consciousness couldn't fully be presented into the world. But yet, your consciousness was required in other locations. Now, many allow their consciousness to do work outside of their body. That is astral travel. But they have a seamless time of astral traveling, back and forth, while the body rests. The body is put into stasis while it sleeps so that the consciousness can go and astral travel. But for you, your body could not attenuate to that. So it needed, if you wish to call it, a walk-in, a consciousness to sustain the physicality while it recalibrated, while your consciousness went and did its work. So this is why you find times of lapse in your memory, in your conscious field as it is. So there is this give and take. Do not be overly concerned about this. This is exactly how you have pre-planned this. This is a normal state for you. Now, what you'll find in time is beginning to build relationships between the two. As you find yourself in that other consciousness, you can begin to explore it. You can begin to ask it questions. And what you'll find is that it is, yes, a consciousness of you, but on a much different timeline, a different existence, if it were. So it isn't just a random consciousness. It is you on a different dimension, a different paradigm, all living a different life. So yes, this is why it is seamless, but yet it does seem as if you forget periods of time. That's because your origin consciousness is out doing its work, and there is that of the altered consciousness of your existence in its place.
What signs would she notice that the other consciousness is present so that she can develop a relationship?
For when that other consciousness of self steps in, there is a bit of clarity that settles in. Not clarity of your past, but it seems as if the thought patterns have changed. There is a bit of fast forward momentum with the thought processes. It seems as if you can see what is going to take place, though bits of it that are going to take place a day or two or even a week ahead, meaning you can plan out that week. Where the other consciousness, at times it's a bit of a struggle to forecast what is going to take place for that week. Because that consciousness that is coming in has already worked through that week, has already lived that week or that month, and you are beginning to understand that. When you see those clarity points, you can then begin that relationship. I wouldn't begin asking it in-depth questions, but I would just begin a relationship. Well, thank you. Welcome. I would like to gain more information from you. How would be best to do that? Begin small, but begin to recognize it in yourself.
Thank you for that. So that type of clarity that you're describing, is that what all of us will experience once we've ascended?
For the clarity that you'll achieve once you ascend will be much different. It will be, think of it as having telepathy across multiple planes, across multiple beings, where consciousness is a collective and you connect into that through a telepathic means and you have access to it all. There is nothing that is hidden or put away. It is all accessed. So it's a different type of clarity, but to your question, a bit similar.
Thank you. And all of us will be experiencing that within our current timeline in about 5 years?
Many are beginning to experience a bit of this clarity now. They're beginning to have moments of telepathic connection, much deeper telepathic connection with their partners, with their friends, with their siblings. They're beginning to, you would understand it as, read their mind. Before they even speak what they're going to say, they already know what is that they're going to say, and they say it before the individual says it. So it is understanding that the timelines are collapsing for ascension, but also consciousness is beginning to combine into a deeper cluster or a deeper consciousness. This is why the unified field is so important, because all of that consciousness is streaming together, but if you cannot tap into it, then you don't have access to it. But many are tapping into it, similar to what it is like to be on that fifth dimensional plane.
I see. And one thing that I've noticed in sessions lately is that you all and other higher selves are talking about the multiverse rather than multidimensionality. Can you tell us how you see the difference in that?
Multiverse differing from multidimensionality. Multidimensionality is that was previously used because of understanding the third and fourth dimension that you exist in, and many are straddling and utilizing both that third and fourth dimension. But see, now that many have already ascended or are on the process of ascending or have experienced that fifth dimensional plane, yes, you could say multidimensionality. But see, once you cross into that fifth dimensional plane, you have a greater understanding of the multiverse aspect, meaning the different access points to the different quantum nodes all being achieved at once. Those nodes, different universes, not universes as you would understand it as your galaxy, but universes, meaning this timeline is a universe, that timeline is a universe, this parallel life is a universe, that existence is a universe. All of it taking place all simultaneously and having access to it. Here in the lower dimension, third and fourth, you don't have great access to it. So it is multi-dimensional, third and fourth dimension. Yes, through different modalities, you can reach into the quantum field and experience, but not have great access. Fifth dimensional plane, once you ascend, then you have greater access to that multiverse of different nodes.
I see, thank you for the clarity. Kathy L. wonders if you can talk to her about the timing of a move to be closer to her daughter within the next few months to years, please.
For you have already made the decision point. Allow yourself to move forward. There isn't a specific time that is any better than any other. You've already made the alignment. This was done This was done at the later half of the 2024 year. You already made the conscious decision that the move was going to take place. You've already put those things into place, into the ether. So they've already been aligned. There is no specific date or specific time other than what you pick. You have to understand you've already orchestrated it, so it is going to be as smooth as you have aligned. So if it is tomorrow, it is tomorrow. If it is 6 months, it is 6 months. If it is a year and a half, it is a year and a half. You've already made the decision. Allow yourself to make the move. It is aligned purposefully.
Wonderful, thank you. Can you tell us if the animals of the planet are becoming more self-aware, sort of ascending as a group on their own?
For if you were equating it to the consciousness of humanity and its ascension in the universal field of consciousness, similar, but different in the way in which energetically animals have already are already at a much higher dimensional plane. All animals across this planet. It doesn't matter how big or how small. They are already universally connected. They are already divinely connected. So to say that their consciousness is ascending, or they're ascending, or collectively they're ascending, they've already far past, surpassed the human ascension understanding. This is why when you connect to your animal or another animal or a collective of animals, you feel that this union is much different. You feel as if the animal is at a much higher plane, because it is. So there isn't an understanding of evolving or ascending. Do not think of it that way. Understand it in a way in which animals themselves, yes, they take on shape and form. But their consciousness, their energy is one collective, one unison collective. And it is fifth and sixth and seventh dimension, if you want to place it in human dimensional terms. But ultimately, they are of the source connection. They are of the source ascension point. So no matter which animal, whether it is wild or domestic, if you begin to perceive them in a way in which their consciousness is much higher than yours, you're going to learn more from them. See, your indigenous tribes, they understood this of all animals. All animals have always been on this planet a much higher plane of consciousness. And so this is why the indigenous tribes always understood animals much differently. They had a relationship with them much differently. They learned from them, they spoke to them, they were taught by them. Humans have forgotten that. So, as you sit in your backyard and you observe that is around you, allow yourself a moment of connection with them, to build a relationship to them. Speak to them as if they are you. Say hello to them. Speak to them at every moment. They may not speak back to you, but they understand. And over time, they will begin to become comfortable with you. And that's when they begin to teach you. They'll look at you differently. They'll begin to push their energy towards you. Absorb it, receive it, open yourself to it, and you'll begin to see what they see, how they understand it. That's the level of consciousness that they are on. That's the level of connectedness to source they are in, and you begin to see it for yourself.
Lovely, thank you for that. Elaine wonders what she needs to know. She feels that something big is going on around her, and she's wondering what is it that she's sensing, please.
You're beginning to see the separation of two reality points. It does not mean you have to choose one reality point or the other. But this is the splitting, if it were, of the dimensional planes. Beginning to see that fifth dimensional plane in existence all around you, while living in the fourth dimensional plane. That fifth dimensional plane is mirrored in the same as it is the fourth, but when you see the split and when you sense the split, it is as if there are two windows. The players within the window are all the same, but the decisions are different in each. The outcomes are different. You've experienced this most of your life, where it is as if the world and reality around you has been split. It's becoming more and more part of your awareness, your existence. And so, this is why it can feel a bit weighty, because you're not quite sure which is which. What is it that's taking place here versus here? Why do I feel a bit uneasy in this one, but not this one? Is this one going to affect that one? Understand that it isn't that you have control of either side, it's just they're taking place simultaneously. It is allowing them to show you, not change you, but show you. You're living in the fourth. it can show you a great deal. But you're also seeing the fifth, which can show you even more and teach you even more. Learn from the fifth, bring it into the fourth to change the fourth. Begin to mirror the fifth in the fourth, and you'll begin to ease the process of blending the two together so it doesn't feel split or feel weighty or as if there's something catastrophic going to take place.
Ah, thank you for that. So I heard something the other day that I'd like clarity on. That extraterrestrials cast images of owls in our mind to cover up the sight of seeing an actual extraterrestrial, and that's why there's so many accounts of 4-foot tall owls during abduction stories. Can you elaborate on that or clarify?
Yes, this is a small aspect, but yes, you have to understand that, well, again, you have to understand the aspect of abductions, depending on how you wish to perceive what an abduction is, but it is dependent upon those that are in agreement because of their contract in the abduction process and what they've chosen for that image. Now you have to understand, yes, of extraterrestrials to walk through the door right this moment into the space that you are sitting upon right now, yes, many of you would be quite unsettled. So yes, an image of that makes you comfortable would be energetically shown to you, overlaid upon them, whether it's owl, whether it's bird, whether it's something that is more childlike. It depends upon the person and how they wish to have that perceived to them in that moment. But it isn't a permanent image. It's only during the process by which the abduction is taking place. It is only during the process of being brought back to, but during the, again, it isn't to use the word abduction in the way in which what has been perceived in the past. Many humans are taken by, yes, extraterrestrials, but they're not taken for harm. They're taken for conversation. They're taken for a point of learning. So, to use the term abduction, yes, this is correct, but you have to understand the nuance of the word. But during the process, that overlay is then set aside. And so yes, you are introduced to the extent of the being that is there with you. And yes, this is why many report being in fear or uncomfortable during the process. But before and at the end, it is a much more gentle aspect of imagery.
So are owls more common, and why the owl?
For the owl is one that, as a child, is always being presented and pronounced to you in a way in which it shows knowledge, it's wisdom. It has a comfortable presence. Now, even within the tribal aspects, the indigenous tribes, owls were always present for those moments of journeying. They were the ones that would bring you into the journey, lead you into the journey, and then hand you off. The owls have always been the ones that stand present. And this is also why, just from an imagery standpoint, the large eyes of many of the greys that do many of the abductions are easily overlaid with an owl, the owl's large eyes. So there is some of that. But it is understanding that owls are more prevalent, yes, but it depends upon the person. Some would say it's a teddy bear. Some would say it's a different bird, a bear, a squirrel. Just something to ease the body into the moment of transportation, the abduction. Once you're there, then there's no need for the overlay.
I see, thank you for that. And is there anything that we need to be aware of with regard to the upcoming solstice, please?
For this solstice that is upon you, this is the point where, as the energies culminate around you, sit within a deep moment of gratitude, opening your heart centers for that gratitude to fill every ounce of your being. Gratitude for everything, every moment of your existence. Begin to recall all the way back to those first memories. Yes, there may be some uncomfortable memories, but even in that, have gratitude for that because it has taught you so much. So allow yourself this deep gratitude. It'll be amplified through these energies. And in doing so, it opens and clears the space for what is to come. This filling, this rejuvenation, this upswell of energies for transformation. There's so much that is on the horizon for humanity in the remaining months of this year that humanity itself is going to be forever changed. Now, many are going to say, what is it? Is it something catastrophic? No. Humanity itself is going to become more aware of their existence, more aware of who they are as a being, more aware of what is around you. So, allow yourself this moment of gratitude to open the space to receive what is to come.
Excellent, exciting, thank you for that. Are there any closing messages then, before we end tonight?
For it is simply put, find joy, happiness in everything. Yes, even the chaos. Allow your focus to be diverted and changed. Allow your attention to be shifted to the things that make you happy. Look away from the things that distract you. Look away from the things that are chaotic. Look away from the things that cannot be changed right now. Your attention is needed in self. Your attention is needed in your happiness, in your gratitude, in your love, in your joy, in your comfort. Find those things in your everyday. This is a reminder of why you've come here, to enjoy every moment of it. Enjoy it. It has been said over and over again. To be human is to enjoy every aspect of it. You've chosen this human life to enjoy it, even with its challenges. So find the joy in it. Seek it. And live within it.
Outstanding. Thank you so very much for your presence tonight.
Thank you. And as always, the collective is here for your information, knowledge,